Hey everybody, Raziel here, coming back at you with another Smite God build for the Xbox One, or any platform for that matter. This week we are bringing to the table Ram, or Rama as he is most pronounced as, the 7th avatar of Vishnu, for patch 3.18. He fills the role of hunter for the Hindu pantheon, and he is the perfect sniper. Let's just leave it at that. This video was intended for those just starting out playing Ram, those who need a refresher with the god, or those who went toe-to-toe with a Ram and got utterly destroyed in seconds, and then ran away and was sniped trying to lazy back. Yep, that happens a lot. We will start out with his abilities, or kit as I call them, then go over the relics and item build, and finish off with abilities, combos, and fighting scenarios. If you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future Smite content. Also, feel free to leave comment below requesting any future gods or just to say hello, for the hell of it. Why don't we get right into those abilities? Alright, before we get started, I have to go over a little housekeeping that I have for every video. I play with the Savage button layout on the Xbox One, which, if you're using the default layout, it's going to look completely different. Also, the PS4 uses shapes instead of, letters and whatnot, and the PC and Mac have a different UI altogether. So as such, from now on, I will be calling out his abilities as 1, 2, 3, and 4, with the 1 ability being all the way over to the left, and the 4 being all the way to the right, and that's being his ultimate. Hopefully this will clear up any possible confusion that may happen later on in the video. So yeah, let's do this. Let's turn that off right there. We're gonna go over his kit here with starting off with his passive, which is called Astral Quiver. Now Ram's Astral Quiver generates an astral arrow every 12 seconds. Also, every basic attack that Ram lands will reduce the amount to generate an arrow by 2 seconds. So astral arrows are used with his other abilities. Now, this is kind of, I think most of the passives I've gone over with gods in my my playlist here have had some kind of, damage or protection buff or something like that. This pretty much just says, hey, it regenerates his arrows, which you can see there to the lower left. Right now I have 5 astral arrows, 5 being the max you can have. So they're used in other abilities here. So that'll come into play as we go over his 1, 2, and 1 and 2 mostly, and maybe, I don't think his ultimate doesn't really use astral arrows, but he's a different kind of god, but he does a lot of damage, and I've been using him a lot lately and having a lot of fun with him. So let's go into his 1. Now before I get into any of his kit here, most of these abilities have some kind of scaling, whether it's magical or physical, based on whether they're magical or physical god. Now he does not have any except on his 4, his ultimate. So as when we get into the item build, this will come into play because you don't really need a lot of attack or physical damaging buffs from your items, because it doesn't scale up, so you don't get as much benefit as if you're using like Neath or someone else who has a percentage of their attack power scale up with their abilities. So that saying aside, we'll go over that when we go over the item build. But for that Astral Strike, Ram switches to a more powerful arrow that pierces and slows enemies. Huge, I tell you. This ability consumes 1 of his astral arrows and deals bonus damage with every shot. Now, damage from this ability is reduced to 75% for each enemy hit after the first. So the first enemy hit, say they're all lined up, the first enemy hit with an astral arrow will take 100% of the damage. Every enemy after that will just be capped off at 75%. He cannot toggle this ability if he has no arrows. That's self-explanatory, but someone probably complained, so they had to put that in there. The slow can be stacked up to 3 times. Okay, so what does that mean? Pretty much just goes through. This is good. This is his main minion clear and damaging ability here, because you can hit the first minion and then pierce the entire line behind him, which is huge. Okay, and it also works if you got it, enemy gods lined up, you can hit that first one and hit any ones behind them, and the slow stacks with every enemy hit. So you could hit, say for some reason, the entire enemy team was lined up in a situation where you could hit all 5 of them with an astral arrow. You could do the bonus damage and put a slow on them as well. So the slow is 10%, which can be stacked up to 3 times. So essentially, you can get 30% slow on an enemy god using this ability. Okay, that's pretty cool. And it lasts for 2 seconds. Alright, it's not too bad. And you get 55 bonus damage at max rank in addition to whatever you're doing. But the main... it doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but the slow is very useful. And the bonus damage is actually pretty big. I mean, you can do a lot of damage if you hit with all 5 astral arrows. You could potentially even, 100 to 0 them. Like, done. And they're sitting there like, what the hell just happened? So it's a great ability. On paper, it doesn't sound that, flashy. And, that was one of my things, like, I don't know. And I started playing him more, and it's like, okay, this is doing a lot of damage. This, too, is called Pick Me Up. It's a buff / pickup. It has a passive, and so we'll go over that in a second. His active, or the main reason you're going to use this ability, is he gains increased attack speed. So at a max rank, it increases your attack speed by 50% for 5 seconds. That's a lot. That's a lot. Now the cooldown also goes down per rank as well, but the passive is anytime enemy is hit by an astral arrow, there's a percentage chance that another one will appear on the ground for him to go run over and pick up. And to pick it up, you really just have to run over and touch it with your body. Now this is big because at max strength, you have a 50% chance to get an arrow back. So if you use his 1 in conjunction with his 2, you could potentially hit more than 5 astral arrows if things play out right and you can get to the drops when they drop. So the speed buff, I think, is the most important thing. The arrows that happen after are nice because you only get 5 really at the max. So this could potentially, depending on your item build as well, you could overcap for a short period of time for 5 seconds with this ability. Rolling Assault is a dash, and he performs a roll in a direction that he's currently traveling, and that's, pretty much any way you face the right thumbstick if you're using a controller, will make him roll. So you can roll backwards, diagonally back, sideways, etc. If you aim in that direction. Excuse me. After performing a roll for 5 seconds, his next basic attack will consume an astral arrow. Okay, so this does consume an astral arrow. I wasn't thinking about it. I use it mostly as an escape, sometimes as a follow-up kind of kill chase scenario. And it cripples the target and deals bonus damage. So, and he incurs no movement penalty during this shot. So he gets a little bit of a Fatalis scenario until he fires that shot. Now the cripple duration at max rank is 2 seconds. You get 100 bonus damage, which is pretty cool. And so, you could do some pretty good work if you use this in conjunction with his other abilities. Sorry, I need a drink there. It's getting a little patched. And for these 3 abilities here, there's no scaling whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about how much physical power you have that will add additional power to these. I mean, this is bonus damage is straight up 100 at max strength. No additional scaling. Okay, to his ultimate, his 4. This one has scaling, as you can see by the orange +0. I don't have any items, so there's no scaling showing. Ram launches into the air and shoots 3 powerful arrows at the ground. Each successive shot increases in damage, but reduces the size of the radius. So, 50, 75, 100, and 30, 20, 15. This is a little more difficult on console than it was with PC, I find. Or I've heard. I haven't really played any PC Smite at all. none, to be honest. It's a little easier to aim with the mouse because you get that, you know, fluidity and everything, a little more control with the mouse. Don't need to get into a PC master race versus console wars, etc., etc. But you can do pretty good. You have to line up with the console, and I find leading a little bit, trying to predict where they are, will help you in getting these snipes. Now, this is where, you know, this is what's called sniping, because he jumps into the air a good amount of distance, and he can shoot a far amount of distance. So say someone gets away, like I said at the beginning of the video, tries lazy backing behind a tower or something. Now, I'm considering that lazy backing when there's a Ram on the field. Then you can snipe them. You can take them out while they're not paying attention, trying to look at their items and everything else. This does 600 damage at max rank. What, 600 for the third? Okay, so if you look at it, you got 600. Well, okay, 300, then 450, and then 600. So that's what, 1350 total if you can land all 3 snipes. That's a lot of freaking damage. Now the possibility of you landing all 3, I believe, are difficult. I believe that's the correct scaling. If someone knows otherwise, please leave a comment below, but I believe that's a lot of friggin' damage. That's not even including any scaling you have of your physical power, which won't be as much as if you stacked physical power. And I wouldn't stack physical power specifically for his ult, because honestly, your ult is going to be only used in certain situations. It's not going to be initiation, it's going to be more of a cleanup, follow-up, you know, maybe even an objective steal, etc. So that's his kit. Again, on paper, it doesn't seem like a lot. You know, there's no scaling on 3 of his 4 abilities. You know, people, you know, including myself, would think this god's butt, you know, not going to do much damage, but what the hell, right? So, that wraps up his kit. Let's now go into his relics and his item build. All right, before we go really into these items and these relics and everything, I just want to say that this is for a conquest mode, or you know, whatever you want to call it. This can work in a majority of the you know, the modes. I don't know what, I can't think of what I normally call them, so we're just gonna call them modes today. Except for maybe assault, because assault is different because you can't go back to found, etc., etc. But arena, clash, joust, siege, you know, this item build will most likely work. You know, tweaks and everything else. Which brings me to another thing I always say in a video is it's situational. The relics is situational, and the item build is situational. The core items will probably be the same, but you will change things up depending on your team comp and the enemy team comp, etc., etc. So let's get right into these relics now. So most likely you'll be in the dual lane. You'll have a support for the laning phase and maybe beginning of the mid game, but at some point should leave you and start roaming towards mid and everything else while the small team fights happen over there. And you're gonna be boxing, going toe to toe with the enemy hunter. So to start out, for your starter item, oh no, so go back. Woo, we're in relics still. Sprint is probably a good item to go with, just if you need to get out of dodge. Most likely, support will go with a meditation. If you don't have sprint, most likely the only other one you're gonna start out with is purification, because the enemy support or the enemy jungler or something, even the enemy, you know, they got a Scotty or something, you're gonna need to get out of some kind of crowd control. So you're gonna probably start out with purification, and I usually pop purification in this, which would be the X on the Xbox One, because my thumb can slip right up to the X a lot easier than maybe going to the A. I don't know, personal preference. You can keep it in the other one if you want. Now after that, mid game, you're probably gonna want to go. I usually go frenzy. if I don't need the sprint, someone else might get the sprint at that point. It might be a few meditations, everything else. I'll probably go frenzy, because it just, what's going on here? Because, you know, it just gives you additional, well, attack speed you're probably not going to need, and the physical and magical power increase is good for you, but it also for all your allies, and it also gives you damage towards objectives. So this can be helpful for you and your allies. Now, if you don't want to go frenzy, you can go with the sprint. That's fine, or meditation. But more than likely, I'd probably go frenzy to go get those objectives, because mid to late game, you're going to be solo for the most part until you get to team fights, and then all hell breaks loose, and this will help everybody. When I jungle, I usually go. I tend to go frenzy too, if I don't go weakening curse or anything like that. So I'm just gonna pop frenzy in here. You can also go sprint. Sprint's also a very good option because it gets you guys out of the team fights. If you're losing a team fight and you need to run away, sprint will help you out. Now let's get into the items that I started to go over before the relics here. Your death toll is what you need. It gives you physical power, it gives you health, but more importantly, it gives you mana and health with every basic attack that you land. And you're basically gonna be basic attacking the entire time. Now, I don't believe this procs with Astral Arrow. It might. I haven't really checked for that. I know an item later on does, but this I'm not 100% sure if it does. It might just work on the first one. I may be incorrect. Again, hit that in the comments below if I'm wrong on that, but go with that. So, after that start item, you're going to start into your boots. Now, your boots, I tend to go a little bit more attack speed items later on, so I'm going to go with the warrior tabby just to give me that little extra physical power instead of the attack speed, because if you go into here, you get physical power and you get mana, which is nice, but you're pretty much going to overcap the attack speed with his too and the items we're going to get later on. So we're going to stick with warrior tabby. Now, I know there's a lot of reinforced greaves stuff happening right now. I think it might have even, yeah, it did get a nerf in this this patch, so some people may still be running it and everything, but I think warrior tabby is the boots to go with out the bat. Now, you're not going to be able to, when you first start out the conquest, you're not going to be able to buy boots straight out, so you're going to go probably the 300 tier 1 boots there and get a few health and mana potions as needed. But once you get the boots, you're able to get the boots, some people go into Iqbal, which is not a bad item. It's cheap, you can get it, you know, it gives you some penetration, which is not bad. But I go Oboe, Odysseus bow, because it gives you more attack speed, but it also gives you a good little passive in that it triggers a chain lightning every for up to 4 enemies for 50% of your basic attack power. Okay, that's every 4th basic attack. I can't read in order apparently. So, oh shit! I just dropped my controller. Yep. 1 second. The trials. I'm not starting this over. We're going with that. Unpause. Unpause. Okay. Just laugh at that, okay? Shit happens. Anyway, because with the Astral Arrow, I find that this procs when you're clearing a wave. This helps you clear a wave that much faster because you get 1, 2, 3 procs from all your Astral Arrows, and you can clear that minion wave pretty damn quick with this ability. Plus, once you guys get in the team fights, using the Astral Arrows and everything else, you get those extra procs. And it's just, you know, it's just that little bit of a annoyance, a little bit of that extra damage that will help out in the team fights. So I go Oboe over Iqbal. Most people might go Iqbal. I go Oboe. Now after that, at this point, you know, you could do a couple things. You can go into a lifesteal item, which I would probably go into Aussie. You could go Bloodforge if you want. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to hit. You go to Bloodforge if you want, but the physical power that you get from it doesn't scale up, so you're not really getting that much. And you get the penetration here, the 15 penetration with the Aussie. Now, if you did go Ickfall, you get 25 physical pen. If you don't go Ickfall, you still get the 15, which is not bad. You get good attack speed, you get physical, you get lifesteal and everything else. So Aussie's pretty good. Aussie's one of the items I usually go to, unless the scaling is that good, etc. After that, I would go kin size. Now you could go kin size before Aussie if you're ahead, or if you really need to get that tank down, or if your support can heal you, etc., etc. Like if you're running with a Sylvanas or something. So you could swap the Aussie for the kin size, and then get the Aussie after that, or you can just go get the kin size after the Aussie. Now these 4 items, not including the Death Toll, are the core items that I would usually run. Anything after this could be the situational portion. Now you could go balls to the walls and get the Executioner next. I usually skip the Executioner because I like... Where is it? Where is it? I don't know where it is. Let's see. Here it is. Hastened Fatalis. I love this on Rom and Hunters maybe in general. I might be putting him in a lot more of my builds. Because, well, for him it gives him attack speed, which at this point I have not mentioned. In his passive, every time you do a basic attack, it reduces 2 seconds off of his Astral arrow regeneration. So his attack speed will be going pretty good at this point. We're actually gonna buy that. We're just gonna see where we're at. We're almost capped. Okay? We're almost capped. And if you hit his 2, he's definitely gonna be over capped. But you know, you may not necessarily need to hit that 2. At this point, late game, you can save that mana, you can save that ability if you need to. You need to pick up those extra arrows, etc., etc. I'm gonna take that out. But the passive means when you hit an enemy, and this includes minions, you don't have the movement debuff from strafing or going backwards. So you can move freely, 100%, you know, speed, and strafe and everything else. And this is great because this helps you when you're boxing, this helps you when you're in a team fight and they're trying to lock you down, slow you down, etc. I usually try to get Fatalis into my build here. Now, if you haven't done it already, you'll sell Death Toll, and I usually go after that with Deathbringer. You don't need Wing Demon because you don't need the extra speed. You could go maybe Malice, you could go maybe the Poison Star, but I think Deathbringer is the way to go because it gives you that extra critical strike damage. And at this point, it's late game, and you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Hopefully you're ahead, and you're going to be doing a lot of damage. This build, I've gotten like 30k plus, you know, plus. I think even one game I got over 50k damage. I don't remember if it was a Clash, I don't remember if it was an Arena or something, or Conquest, but it was a lot of friggin' damage. I mean, I pooped myself a little bit when I saw that. But, you know, some people will try to get maybe more penetration. They might go, you know, the Executioner here instead of the Fatalis because it's a good item. It strips their protections. People could even, you know, throw in a stone cutting sword if you wanted to give you that little extra protections if you're getting pooped on by like their hunter or something. But go with this item build to start out with here. It will do you right. You'll do a lot of damage. You'll get a lot of wave clear. You know, towards the end of laning phase to mid game. It will help you in pushing the lanes down, getting those tier 1, tier 2 towers, and maybe even potentially to get that Phoenix if you're trying to split push. That wraps up this, you know, relics and item builds and everything else. Next we're gonna go over, you know, his combos and whatnot. So let's get into that. All right, now we're gonna go over his fighting scenarios and his, you know, ability combos, etc. This is you know, where we just go over, you know, how he fights and everything else. Now We're gonna go over to our friends here, Odin Squared, you know, our little test dummies. Ra we usually don't mess with, so. Alright, so I'm just gonna show you. I mean, he shoots pretty damn fast. Look, I mean, look at that. That's a lot. That's a lot of basic attacks. All right. Now, if you notice, I'm gonna do it right here. I'm moving kind of slow. All right. I'm doing a lot of basic attacks, but I'm moving kind of slow. Now we're gonna hit this guy. Boom. Look, I'm moving now. I'm moving a lot faster now. And those crits are pretty sexy. Alright, so that's Fatalis at work right there. So when you're going toe-to-toe with the other hunter, or if you're going toe-to-toe, or not toe-to-toe, but if you're involved in the team fight, that will help out. I mean, if you're trying to do a lot of damage and get around people, you know, their assassins coming at you or whatever, this is not going to do a lot. But if you're hitting them, or hitting the minions around them, this will help you out. You just gotta, you know, since you're going so damn fast, you're gonna have to, you know, figure out how to lead and everything, but with practice, you'll be getting all the hits you want. Now, we're just gonna go over, you know, his 1 and his 2 and then his 3. His 1 will I'll go to a minion camp or something. That's actually I'll just show the minion wave here. Do this real quick. You can see, boom, it goes through, boom, and it procced right there. That worked out pretty good. Now I used all my Astral arrows actually, so let's see if we go back over here to Odin. Yep, those are counting. So we're just gonna see here. If you look at my passive meter down there, is just skyrocketing. Right there. Alright, and I'm already back up to full stacks. Now his 2, right here. I don't see any Astral arrows. Well, I'm not expending any Astral arrows, so there's nothing really to pop up. I don't think so. I mean, you don't really notice that much of a difference because right now I'm over capping his attack speed. But early game, that 2 will help out a lot in securing some kills. At late game, it may not be as important, the active, but the passive will become important at that point because you'll get those extra astral arrows quicker. I keep saying, I'm emphasizing the ass for some reason. And then his 3 here is his roll. Usually, like I said, I use it as an escape if I need to. If a box comes down and belches on me, I'll roll out so he can't stun me or whatever. I'm actually gonna roll, and let's see. So a normal attack does 212, right? I'm gonna roll, and then attack. Yeah, still did that, but it crippled him, as you can see underneath. So we'll do that one more time just so you can see. Actually, I'll show you. Look, as you can see, any direction. Actually, I said the right stick earlier. It's actually the left stick. I'm a moron. So I'm gonna roll backwards, even. Okay. Whoop. And then cripple, and you can see it. His feet right there. He's crippled. He'll be there for a little while, and you can just unload on him. Just. If they're running away, that's great to chase them down because then you can get that cripple and do the astral arrow combination. Now, as I showed you with the minion wave over there, your main wave clear early game is going to be a 1 and possibly 2 combo, if you can. I usually make just pop 1. I usually save the 2 if I'm going for god hits, because it'll allow me to get those hits a lot quicker. Get that slow stacked upon the enemy god a lot quicker. And maybe even potentially give me an arrow back in return. And how I just do that is, you know, for some reason they're out of position, say this Odin jumped in or whatever, I'd hit the 1, hit the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there, boom. Now, again, I didn't get any arrows back, but as you can see, already up to 2 arrows. And I'm dancing around this Odin because he's stationary, but, you know, we're having a grand old time doing it. That's pretty much his main combo, period. You're going to do 1-2 for the wave clears. You're going to do 1-2 earlier game, specifically to slow them down and secure the kill. And late game, you can even forego the 2 and just use it when you're low on... Oh shit, that was a loud beep. I lost my train of thought. Baby monitor just went off saying that it's low because I'm making sure that the newborn we have is not crying at the moment. So that's what that was if you heard it, and that's why I just got discombobulated. That's a large word. So I was saying the two, just to get those astral arrows back, and get you back to using your one more quickly. Obviously, there's a cooldown to the one, and at this point, maybe you can get your full 5 stacks pretty damn quick. And then just, 3 can be used to initiate if you want, but most likely I use it, or most of the time I use it for an escape, or for the chase to secure the kill. And then when you've been dancing around, his ultimate is 4. Never use it as an initiation. Never use it as an initiation. Maybe I'll use it to secure a kill on the Gold Fury or the Fire Giant, but never initiate, never mid-game, or mid-team fight, not mid-game, mid-team fight, use it. It's pretty much the enemy's trying to run away. I'm going to try to snipe his ass. Bam. Now I'm going to use it on this Odin, who's not going to be moving. So I can't really show you the lead. I'll make a quick reference of it, but I can't really show it to you. So, actually, can I use it on this Ra? Let's try getting right in here. Alright, we're going to use it on this Ra, and then we're going to run away. I'm just going to alt up. Boom, I'm in the air. You can see it's right there. You usually lead it. Ready? 1, smaller. 2, smaller. 3, smaller. And then he's none the wiser. Is he coming after me? No, he's not. So I took away half his health with all these 3 hits. And like I said earlier when I was going over his kit, those do a lot of damage. I didn't actually look at the numbers, and I'm not going to do that again. You can watch the video to see the numbers that I hit him with. There was a 600 in there, etc. So that's pretty much it. His combo, is 1-2. Use the 3 to initiate if you really feel ballsy. Use the 3 to chase or escape, more than likely. And ultimate used to secure the kill once they get out of range. If they're lazy backing, if they're running away, if they think they're safe. Or use the ultimate even to secure Gold Fury and or Fire Giant. Again, on paper, it doesn't look like he's going to do a lot of damage, but he can do a lot of damage. He's almost captained in that, along with the oboe and his ability to, pierce multiple enemies with his one. It's just incredible the amount of damage he can do. And with the proccing from his critical item, it'll help out. Whatever you choose, Deathbringer or whatnot. So I hope this video helped. I hope it helps you guys who are new. I hope you guys remember how the hell to play this god, and those guys who just got destroyed with him and wanted to find out why. I hope this you understand now that he can do damage, even though he doesn't seem like he can. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more future content. I think at one point I'm going to try to do something just besides the guides, but I have kids and that may not always be possible. Leave a comment below for any gods you want me to go over in the future, or just, keep coming back to the playlist, coming back to the channel, and seeing what I do publish. I appreciate everyone who's come and watch this. I've got a couple videos, over 100 views. It's not a lot, when you look at the big guys. For someone as small as me, who's trying to do as much as he can in the little time he has, it's greatly appreciated. Also, catch up on my Twitter. Follow me on there. I usually post, when the videos go live if you don't get the emails from YouTube. Also, I usually post a lot of, giveaway stuff or Smite information, everything else like that, or just general musings. I think that's about it for the video. So I'm just gonna say I'll see you guys in the next one, and yeah, peace.